Hi there.
Hey, Ren. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, thank you for taking some time here to join us in Vancouver, Canada.
Oh, cool. I didn't know where you were based out of. That's amazing.
How about you? Where are you from?
I'm in LA.
Oh, sweet. So you're just down the coast.
Yes, so
Hell,
we're
we're
just
practically neighbors. We're practically statesmen.
yeah, I've
Oh,
been up there before. It's so beautiful.
that's great. And how long have you lived in LA for? Like, what a great city to live in too, hey?
Yeah, I'm from here. I grew up here.
Oh, okay.
So I've been here.
You're you're a lifer.
Yeah, basically my whole life. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Well, it's great to talk to a fellow music nerd.
Yeah.
What is it that drove you down that path, do you think?
Um, I think I'm kind of one of those people that I think it was from such a young age that I basically don't even remember any sort of turning point or like moment that took me there.
Mm,
Um, I grew up in like a really creative household, and both of my parents sang all the time and were huge music lovers. And my dad had grown up and been in bands, and my mom her mom had actually been an opera singer, and so that was like a big part of her life growing up. Um, and so I always sang just since I was a little kid, and it's really strange, but I just like it's always what I wanted to do. Like since I was tiny, and I just kind of never it never left my head or my heart. That was just always the plan. Like,
yeah.
yeah, just kind of like this little kid's dream that never got like knocked out of me by anyone. So it's just kind of always been the path.
Good, good. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're, like you say, your mom's Leslie is a singer as well, right? So, like, when you
Yeah.
have parents that legit get it, they
Yeah.
don't try to stifle that creativity out of you, right? Like, they want you to go.
Yeah. I was incredibly lucky. They have been so supportive, like truly for my entire life. And I think that's something that certainly not everybody has. And I think even people who go down this road and want to have a career in music, like there's also a big difference between people being supportive versus people being encouraging.
Mm,
And my parents were encouraging, like they're still encouraging. You know, I feel like for me, I think COVID was kind of the only time that I started to just feel like not that I didn't feel like I was going to keep trying, but that it started to feel like, is this going to happen? Like, is this even possible?
mm,
And like, I think me being able to kind of get through that and come out on the other side and regain some of the self-belief that I had had before was like largely due to them not wavering. So yeah, I'm incredibly thankful to them, and that definitely like it's just like one less obstacle, when you don't have to win over your family to your
sure.
crazy idea of what you want to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Was you so you're saying that your mom and your dad were singing and stuff, and as a kid, it's kind of just in your blood, like it's been around the whole time. So, what
Yeah.
was the music then in the Martinez house as a kid? Like, was it all over the map, or?
Yeah, I should say too, my brother and sister too. I have two older siblings, and we all sing.
Hmm,
Um, but yeah, my parents, the kind of two main like pinnacles of our household were Joni Mitchell and Jackson Brown. Like those were the two since I was so little. And those, I mean, which are really amazing songwriters to kind of be raised on.
sure.
And those were kind of the main people my parents were really obsessed with. And we also listened to a lot of Bonnie Raitt. We listened to a lot of the Eagles. So that was kind of the vibe. And then I was, growing up like I was a tiny kid in the 90s and the early 2000s. And so that was the era of like Britney Spears being absolutely the pinnacle of everything, especially to like a little girl.
Yeah,
Um, so that and Christina Aguilera and all the boy bands and Sync and the Backstreet Boys, like that was very much that was like the culture for me as a little kid. That's what I loved.
right.
And
And like, how old were you when you started going to concerts and stuff like that?
yeah, it's so funny because I've been thinking about all this so much. I just wrote an essay actually kind of about this that I just posted on my Substack. I I would go to concerts with my parents, like with my family. Like I think I saw Jackson Brown when I was really little.
Mm,
Um, and I didn't start really going to stuff on my own until I don't know, maybe I was like around 10,
mm.
um, maybe a little bit later. And I just was remembering the first concert I ever went to, that my babysitter's boyfriend's sister
Okay.
got me and my babysitter tickets to see Ryan Cabrera at the House of Blues in Hollywood.
Mm,
And he was kind of this like early aughts like rocker guy, pop singer. And this band called the Click Five that opened for him that I loved, that I was so excited to see.
mm,
And I then really got into like pop punk and emo, and I loved Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco and Fountains of Wayne and all these bands. Like, so that was kind of my first, like, as I became a little bit more of like a real person, like, that was what I started to kind of get into on my own. And I had loved like Michelle Branch, Avril Lavigne. So always like kind of pop music with like a rock foundation in a way. Like that was kind of always what I gravitated towards.
sure. And it's probably a lot to do with what you're, I mean, saying like Jackson Brown and
Yeah,
Eagles, and like these are
yeah.
like staples of any good, you know, rock playlist.
Yes.
Like,
That's
did
what
you
I
see?
think.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't remember which. I think it might be the Eagles documentary they had on Netflix a couple of years back, where they were talking about. I think it was Don Henley had lived with Jackson Brown,
Oh my
and
God.
was it Don Henley? No, maybe it was Glenn Fry.
Mhm.
And he was saying how like he would hear Jackson Brown playing one specific piece of a song until he nailed it, but literally he'd hear the teapot going.
Oh
You
my
know,
God.
he'd hear the same riff over and over till it was mastered. Like,
Wow.
these are musicians, unlike, of course, no offense to any musician today, but like
Yeah.
70s
Yeah.
musicians
Yeah.
are beasts.
Yeah. It was just like a whole different kind of world that people were living in
Yeah.
than I only imagine. It's funny you say that because I haven't seen that documentary, but
Oh, it's so
I
good.
think I think my dad must have uh read that story or heard that story in an interview because my dad has told me that about one of those guys. I don't remember either which which one it was, but my dad has told me that story about them listening to him play the same piano bar over and over for hours and hours and hours
Yeah.
until getting it just right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my parents did and tell me a lot of kind of stories like that too when I was a kid. And I think like I even just like have memories of when I used to show my parents music I loved, which again was really cool that they were interested and wanted
Mhm.
wanted me to do that.
Sure.
And they would talk to me about songwriting. Like when I Sorry about this noise. My cat is like going crazy behind me.
Can't hear it.
Um, but they would talk to me about songwriting and they would point things out to me. Um, and I remember those things, like even now. Like it's really interesting conversations from when I was like, in middle school. Like I
So,
remember certain songs that I hear and I remember things that my mom said about this lyric or things that my dad said about like the way this line was constructed. Like those things really stayed with me.
yeah, sure. And like, are you meticulous or like a perfectionist? Like talking about the debut album, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Was it like that for you? You're like,
Yeah.
I need to work. You're like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I'm not that great of a player, which I guess in a way is kind of freeing because the thing I'm doing over and over is not practicing a riff, but I have really, really high standards for myself when it comes to songwriting and lyric writing and the way that I construct um, melodies and harmonies. And so I don't know. I think it's something I'm still kind of trying to parse out. Like, I think it's a blessing and a curse because, this record that's coming out this year, for a lot of different reasons, but definitely one of them is that perfectionism. It's taken a long time, like a lot longer than I wanted it to take, which has been so frustrating. But at the same time, now that it's finally starting to come out and I'm getting the response that I'm getting, and kind of, I think people are recognizing the work that went into it. And now it feels like I'm like, oh, thank God I took all that time and like
Yeah.
really, yeah, and and still it's not perfect. Like still it's crazy the way that you'll listen to your own song for like the 200th time and suddenly you're like, "Oh my God, how did I leave this in?" And
Mhm.
and in a way, like again, that moment is kind of helpful because it's like, okay, it never ends.
Yeah.
Like if you have a if you're a creative person, which we all are, but if you're actively someone who is some sort of artist, like I think your brain can get wired to be looking for the things you can improve in your own work. And even when you decide something's done, that part of your brain, I have found, does not turn off.
Yeah, yeah, because you can go back and like, oh man, I could have fixed that. I could have tweaked that
Yes,
better. Like that should have been that.
exactly.
Like never
Yeah.
ends. You can almost never end that.
Yes. It's like actually kind of shocking. Like it's like truly after years of listening to the same recording, like something new will just occur to you, like, and it feels crazy that you didn't see it before. So yeah, it's again like I'm still learning these things because I've put out music before this, but this album is a bit different to me because it's the full thing, it's the first full thing, and so
Mhm.
yeah, it's something that I wanted it to be as good as it could possibly be,
Yeah,
especially just given that it's like an independent project. So I'm trying to accept that about like that's part of it too, and that's okay.
sure. And not to get too far ahead of the cart, but like, you have your life to make your debut.
Yeah.
And of course, the
Oh,
second album, you're like, dude, please.
no, that's
But
such a I love that. That's a beautiful phrase. Like I love that sentence.
right? But now, so once you're past that and you're into, your second, your third, fourth album,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
do you feel that there's more pressure to do those? And I know you haven't even started to make those, but do you think that there's going to be
Yeah.
more pressure for you down the line or no?
It's hard for me to imagine that any more pressure than what this has been like, just in terms of the fact that, you know, again, like I am a completely independent artist. Like this got made I had my friend Brian Robert Jones, who produced it, and he's like, without him, it would not be what it is. It would not sound the way it sounds. But like this is something that, I had to make this happen just through my own kind of the courage of my convictions. And I think the pressure of it being like, okay, I'm an unknown artist. This is my first album. This is the time where, I don't know what will happen in the future, but like I have complete creative control. There's hard things about being independent, but that's the amazing thing about being independent is like
Hmm.
the decisions are yours. Nobody is listening to the songs and being like, this song's bad. We're not doing this song, or being like, these aren't catchy enough, or you need to make it sound this way. It's like, I got to make this how I wanted it. There was nobody telling me what to do. And so I feel so thankful for that, and I feel really proud of what it has become. But I think that pressure to be like, okay, like this is my chance to present myself just as myself, and like no one has really heard anything before. Like that, I mean it took me years to get it ready. And I'm sure that there will be other pressures that will come. Like I have no illusions that it's just going to be smooth sailing from here on out.
Oh yeah, it's
But I
coming.
think that like I get really excited about the idea of like adding to a body of work. Um, it that feels a little bit less scary than like beginning the body of work, like creating the body of work publicly.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm already like I'm getting excited about that now.
Hmm. Have you talked to your dad much about? Because of course your dad is like a famous actor. We'd know him from like LA
Yeah.
Law and like Days of Our Lives and shit. But have you talked to your dad specifically about that, of the pressure of being in the spotlight and being a creative, and how he's moved and bobbed and weaved through his career and how it could kind of tie
Yeah.
in yours?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. Like I think that I've talked to him about it. I'm really close with both of my parents, and my dad and I are so close. And I talked to him about everything. But even just like witnessing it was really powerful.
Mm,
And um, growing up, yeah, my dad has had like just an amazing career. And of course, like for an actor, p being a working actor is so hard. And I think it's like the idea of what that is, I think is really different than the reality of what it is. And it's a situation where you can be the hardest worker, you can want something so bad, and you can be kind and smart and cool, and you just might not get to do anything for a long time. Like there are just no guarantees.
mm,
And, you know, my dad's had his ups and downs as like, most actors that have been working as long as he have, you have those ups and downs. And I've thought about this a lot as I've gotten older, just being a kid, watching him and his resilience and his passion for what he was doing, and watching just like even just growing up in a house with somebody who made that decision and made that commitment that they were going to be an artist and a performer. And
mm,
even if it got really hard, like that's what he was doing. And it was never a question. And it never, it wasn't a question for him, and it certainly wasn't a question for any of us. Like it was just like, well, this is dad and this is
what
what he
dad
does.
does. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And I think in a way, like it was really important for me to see that because there was things about it that were so incredible and so beautiful and inspiring and so much that I wanted for myself. But I also like it was like a harsh reality a lot of the time also. Like it was not,
Mm,
you know, there were no illusions for me about how difficult it really is. But at the same time, like to have a dad and as he gets older, to have like this this father figure in my life who, again, like he chose the path of an artist. Like that's what he did with his life. And I think being able to see that even if it's hard, it's possible and it's rewarding and it allows you to be the person that you want to be. Even if you're, again, even if everything is not always going how you want it to go, like you get to be true to yourself. Like and it's a big deal. And not everybody chooses to do that in life. And people have
hmm
other things that they prioritize and all that. But it's just like, yeah, I feel like it's a rare thing, like what he has done and I kind of can't even imagine like the true impact that it's had on me, but
Oh, for
I'm
sure.
very aware of what it means to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, I mean, without being cheesy, it's beautiful that you have somebody that is in your corner that has been there and done that, right? Like, when
Yeah.
did you know that your dad was famous? Like, how old were you?
That is so funny. I don't really know. I think like I think in a way it probably took like a weirdly long amount of time to
Yeah.
sink in. Like I feel like sometimes I still have moments where I'm like, oh my God. Like, wow. Um, because I think also too, like when you grow up in LA, there's a lot of people who live here who are performers of some kind
Sure.
and it's not like we're like getting mobbed in the streets. Like that's not the situation.
Yeah.
But like and I also like I kind of grew up in a pretty small town environment where like everyone knew everyone. And so there wasn't really this feeling of like it didn't feel like he was more known than anyone else necessarily. It was like we were in a really tight-knit community that was small. And so it was just like through all the families and everybody knew everyone's parents and everybody was like seeing each other at the store all the time. So I think I was a bit insulated from that. And I think, I think that the kind of craziness of it was before I was born, I would imagine was like a bit of like the peak
Sure.
of, when he was
Like
doing
General Hospital and like
shows, yeah, in Santa
huge,
Barbara.
huge
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like it was a little quieter than that when I was a kid. But, it's been really cool also like around when I went to college and as I've been an adult, like he's been doing some amazing things and it's been so fun and exciting to like watch these things unfold and like go visit sets with him and it's just yeah. I mean, this is so funny and I'm just like I'm talking so much about my dad, which I love, but it's like to this day, like if I get the chance to go to set with him on something he's working on and just kind of observe and meet the people that he's been working with and watch him work, every single time that happens, almost everyone I interact with will want to pull me aside and have like a little moment with me about how wonderful he is and about how kind and cool he is and about how the energy he brings to set like makes everybody happier.
Mm,
And that is a crazy thing to get to experience as someone's kid. Like, and that even more than just the fact of his success, it's that is like that shapes the kind of person I want to be.
mm,
Like getting to be on the receiving end of people saying those things to me and people showing me so much love just because of the way that he has treated them and made them feel like that's the kind of thing that really that makes you be like, okay, like so there's a way you can live your life that has this kind of impact on the people around you and that's like what I want to try to do. Um, so yeah, like it's a significant thing for me and for the way that I hope to kind of carry myself through the world, for sure.
mm. I love that. Let's stay in that world for a second. What are you binge watching lately?
Oh my God, this is so funny because I feel like, I love movies and I love TV and I feel like I'm always like watching something amazing, but I don't for for some reason, like kind of since I started this rollout, I have just gotten really into Survivor. I
Mm.
have been watching so much Survivor.
We have a bunch of seasons to catch up on, so
Yes,
7,000 seasons, right?
yeah, it is so funny. I feel like I didn't watch it for so long because I was like, I can't. Like there's too it will ruin my life. Like I can't start watching this show.
Is that a show that if you had the chance to go on, would you go on like a Survivor type show?
Yeah, you know what? You really do think about that when you watch it. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I ever actually would try to do anything like that, but I don't, who knows? The more I watch it, we'll see how I feel. I don't think I'm coordinated enough for a lot of those challenges,
Sure.
but I'm very interested in the mental game, that part of
Yeah.
it.
Like if I was to go on a show like that, it would be just to be a shit disturber, first off. Like it's all the mental game is what truly it comes down to.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, like, because I started watching the newest season, and then I went back to the beginning.
Mm,
And in the beginning, first of all, they're there for like 39 days. So almost 2 months, like close up to 2 months,
mm,
6 weeks, whatever.
mm.
And they're like actually like starving.
Oh,
Like it's
oh, yeah,
crazy.
they're losing like 50 pounds, 60 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah. And they're like starting to actually go insane. And it's just like it is really wild. And I'm just like, man, what a crazy thing to like find out what I mean, it's obviously also just what so privileged and for somebody to be like, yeah, let me go choose to like go suffer
first
for
world problems here,
or
big
whatever.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just like it's fascinating to me. And it's a
yeah,
good, I think it's like a good thing to kind of in a time where I have so much I'm working on and so much I'm focused on for this project that it's like this lead up to this thing I'm finally doing. Like I think in a way it's a soothing thing for my brain to just be like, well, let me just see what's going on with these people.
totally right. It's a good like off off on switch.
Yeah,
Let me just
exactly.
put my brain over here for a sec.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
also kind of fun because especially with the old seasons, it's like there's no cultural conversation going on about season 4 of Survivor. Like nobody's thinking about this except me. I don't need to have an opinion that I need to talk to anyone about. Like I get it's very just like in my own little realm that I'm watching this, but
Yeah.
I'm really loving it.
And I hear that you're starting to dabble a little into the voice acting world.
Yeah, I've been doing that for I don't know, maybe at this point it's been like oh my God, it's probably been like over 5 years.
Oh, okay. Oh, so
Yeah,
you're into it then.
yeah, I think the first job I got was maybe in like 2017. Yeah.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, doing like these voiceover jobs and doing English language dubbing work, which is this thing that's kind of like really exploding just in general, like all across, I think all across the world, all different language, like dubbing work,
mm,
um, which has been really fun and really interesting. And I had like I worked on this show, this Netflix show called Baby, that's like originally was it's an Italian show. And so I was like the English language voice of the main character on the show, this like teenage girl.
mm.
And it was so funny a few months ago. Uh, I had taken acting class that I really love, and this girl from my acting class who's younger than me, she's like very full Gen Z girl, was like, "Did you do the voice for this show?"
Oh no.
Like
Nice.
I was like, yeah, and no one has ever like it's the most like anonymous thing you could ever do. I was like, how did you know that? Like that's crazy. And she was like, well, I was watching it and then I ended up putting the dub on and I just like heard you and I was like, is that Ren? But then she was like, do you know that like that that's like a really popular TikTok sound? And I was like,
Hmm.
what are you talking about? And she was like, yeah, like your narration is like a viral TikTok sound.
That's awesome.
And I was just like, I was not even on TikTok. I was like, I don't even know what you mean, but what? And then she was like showing me, and because I would do like the voiceover for like the trailer of the show where I'm taught, where I'm narrating this trailer.
Yeah.
And like a couple of these had started being used by all of these like teenagers because it's
Like
like this
what?
dramatic, kind of like glamorous, dark teen show. And there was like thousands of videos like using this clip.
Crazy, right?
And that was like a few months ago that I found that out. And I had done it, yeah, in like 2017. And I don't, for some reason, it like just popped off on there. So that was crazy. That like just happened recently. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a cool thing and I really like voiceover a lot
Yeah, same. I do a
and
little
I've
bit here and there. Like my
oh, do you?
the hat that I hang is I did a country music television Christmas special. So
Oh my
like the,
God.
all the bumpers, the intros, extras, and all that kind of shit.
Oh my
It's
God.
like such a super fun, creative world as well. Like,
Yeah, you have such a good voice for it now that you say I can imagine that so clearly just what you said.
yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun and I think there's kind of like a because I have you acted ever like in any other
No,
context?
never acted. No.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
I think that for me is was like the sticking point of like being in front of a camera or being in
yeah,
front of people. Like I can be behind the
yeah.
mic and be a jackass for days on end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nobody there.
Yeah, there's something really freeing about it and about just like being in your headphones and
Yeah.
you don't even have to open your eyes. Like it's just like
Straight up, you can be in PJs.
yes, exactly. You can look like shit, it doesn't matter. Um, But yeah, I feel like there's something that just kind of allows you to access like a different part of yourself that's like a little bit more like
Yeah,
childlike to just kind of get to like play and mess around and not feel watched. Like it's really fun.
yeah,
I feel like that kind of gig, I've thought about that before. Like I'm interested in it enough where like I love H. John Benjamin. Do you know who that is?
yes, like the best.
Yes,
He is the best.
I love him.
What's his best stuff though? Like, is it Bob's Burgers? Is it
Okay,
Archer?
okay, this is so insane, but I was obsessed with this show called O'Grady that came out when I was probably in like middle school or high school, that I think was one of his earlier shows that was on like the N, like some random kind of teen channel.
Mm,
And it is so funny. And he's like, same thing he always does. He's like half, if not more, of the characters.
yeah,
And he must have been really young because it was before Bob's Burgers, like before Archer. And that show, like, it's like the most random thing. And I basically never find anyone else who loved it, but it's on YouTube and I would recommend it.
I,
Like, I will
I'm
sometimes just watch it on YouTube.
nice.
It's
Yeah,
really
that's
funny.
so good.
Yes, and I love him. I love Pamela Adlon. She's like such a hero of mine. Better Things is like one of my favorite shows of all time, and she, for so long was Bobby on King of the Hill. Like, and I think about those kinds of careers, and I'm like, that would be really, really cool to
Big money
to
too. Like they make big money.
Yeah, like if you're on a show that's a great show that does well and like lasts a long time, like I don't know. It sounds kind of like the
I know, right?
perfect.
Like what? PJs? Get
Yeah,
paid
you get to
well?
just go in
Act
the
like a
booth and
jackass? Like,
mess around, yeah, in your sweatpants. Like it's just like
yeah,
not have to worry about trying to never age. Like you gotta just get to like yeah, get to actually just be these characters. Yeah, I think
yeah,
it's a cool world for sure.
yeah, I agree. I want to go back to, and I love that you brought up TikTok and
Oh.
kind of like, holy shit, like my stuff's blowing up in that world.
Yeah,
Do you think, because I know that, the change of the way that people consume stuff, certainly shows and music and stuff, like it's changed.
yeah,
It's over the years, it's changed. It's
oh,
still changing. But were you specific to like when you're making music, like are you thinking, and you're probably like, dude, what a crazy question, but like there's specific parts of songs where you're like, that could blow up on TikTok. People could
yeah,
make
yeah,
a hit
yeah,
out of that on Instagram. Like, you know,
yeah,
what's that next step of blowing up your music, instead of, your voice acting?
yeah. I think it's interesting. Because the answer to that is it's not a crazy question at all. But that for me, the answer is no. Like I'm not thinking about that at all. But I know that a lot of people are, and people who are very, very good are. Like it's like a real consideration. For me, like I, a lot of people do. I have like a really tough relationship with social media, and I think,
I think
for
we
my
all hate it. Come on,
generation,
let's be
yeah.
honest.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
totally everybody does. You can't not because it fundamentally is a very complicated thing. And I think for me, like, I grew up like I was like probably 11 when I like got Facebook and that was like a brand new thing and like so I feel like I went through the Facebook and then Instagram and like I did at a certain point I'm someone who will wait a long time. Like I'll kind of wait until it feels like I'm forced to like kind of join these things. Because
Mm,
since when I was in middle school, it was fun and exciting, but mostly since then, it's kind of been like, oh, there's another one.
Yeah.
Um, so with TikTok, like I didn't even create a TikTok account until I don't even know, sometime in the last year. And I kind of created the account and then I just like never opened the app. Like I just was like, I I just like for me, the time suck is is really scary.
What's real?
And I have so many friends who are like, yeah, I mean, literally just easily you're on it for 2 hours without even noticing. And I'm just like, oh my God. So I don't know. I've kind of wondered if I actually waited so long that maybe, I mean, now I'm like, is it going to exist? I don't know what's going to happen. I think it probably will.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. If anything, it's
I don't,
probably just going to keep skyrocketing. I don't think that's
yeah,
going away. Like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's something like I'm on Instagram and I am, TikTok is part of the deal and that's something I'm figuring out for sure. But I think more to actually answer your question, I think I kind of I guess you could say in a sense, I feel like I'm a little bit lucky that I think that my songwriting style and the way that the kind of songs that I've want to write and the way I've developed as a songwriter, I do think it does kind of lend itself to that format in some ways.
Mm,
It's definitely not like I'm not doing anything for any kind of like shock value or like memification,
mm,
but I do just think like I like to write with humor and I like to write in kind of narrative ways. Like I really like to try to tell stories and and so I like to have really specific details in my songs and I like to kind of try to like paint a picture. And I think, and it's pop music, like it's also, I want it to be catchy. I want it to be nice for your ear to hear. Like I want it to be easy to listen to. Um, and I think that is something that, again, I have no idea what's going to happen, but I could see it doing well in those kinds of formats. Um, and I've been told that by a few people as well. And it was really funny that thing blowing up because again, could not be more anonymous. Like no one would ever be able to be like, who's that girl? Like there's there's just like it would be almost impossible for somebody to actually figure that out. But
yeah.
it was interesting to be like, wow, I mean, it is my voice. Like that's me talking. And for some reason, like that hit. Like it latched on in some way and it was a little bit like okay well maybe that's a good sign. It's again so weird and so random.
It's very random.
It's like it can't be a bad sign like if
No,
it's yeah
no.
so
I like that you were mentioning stories and stuff, and like we'll take it back to the beginning of the conversation and talking about Jackson Brown and
yeah
Eagles, and that's probably why you want that narrative. You want to keep
yes
dragging people along and stuff. And by the way, good use of memification. I don't know if that's an actual word, but we'll take it.
yeah
Uh, Ren, I
yeah
unfortunately I do have to get going here in the next few minutes. I've got something
yeah
at 10 this morning, but I do want to ask you one last question. It could be the easiest, it could be the toughest.
oh yeah totally
Um, Career highlight. Can you nail it to one thing?
oh my gosh um that is tough honestly. This is like probably not a very exciting answer. I think for me, the best moments for me are playing live. Like that for me, that the feeling of that for me is kind of so far beyond everything else that
Mm,
there's no better feeling that I ever feel is when I'm playing my songs on stage and there's an energy and a connection with an audience. Like that's like the apex of everything for me. So, I've gotten to meet some really wonderful people, and I've gotten to share my music with people I really admire. And I think getting to hear some of those responses and getting some of that support, like that has been incredible. But I think for me, like truly the highlight is just like getting on stage and singing my songs for people. And that's the thing that I just like, I really hope to just be able to do for the rest of my life. And that's when I imagine it, that's what I'm imagining, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Let's take a page from your dad's book.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's pretty rad.
Yeah.
So give us the timeline for Fingers Crossed.
So it's coming out in October. If you go to my Spotify, it's Ren Martinez, Ren Martinez. And there's on my artist page, there's a little like countdown clock for the album and you can pre-save it. Um, but yeah, I've put out 4 songs and I'm putting out 4 more. Like I'm rolling almost all of them out as singles first,
Mm,
and then the album will come out in October. So yeah, if you kind of jump in now, you'll get to have like I have a song coming out on June 12th that I'm really excited about. Um, and then yeah, a couple more songs and then the album in the fall.
cool. And so Ren Martinez is the place to go to follow anybody that's watching, listening.
Yeah, Ren Martinez on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, all of the streaming services. And then I'm on Instagram, renmartinez.ok. That's my Instagram handle. And same on TikTok, although there's not a lot going on there, but there will be probably as time goes on.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, that's how to find me. I'm
cool.
I'm out there.
I could keep talking to you for hours.
I know, me too.
What a cool conversation. So we'll tag you when we're chucking this stuff around, Ren. Unfortunately, I got to fly. So
Of course.
have a great day, and we'll see you soon, hopefully.